So I wanted to be in Kansas. I wanted to be here so badly, so I was headed to another direction. I told the pilot, we're going to Kansas, just get here. Now, we don't have much time this morning because in a few minutes we got to go over and caucus. Who's got the right to caucus? Who's got the right to vote? Raise your hand. Good, good, good. Well, I'm going over with you, okay? We're all going together. This is a movement, folks. It's never been anything like this. They're all saying it. This isn't coming from Donald Trump. This is coming from Time magazine and everything else. We're on the cover numerous times over the last couple of months. I never thought. It took me like 30 years to be on the cover of Time twice. Now I've done it 4 times in the last 3 months. So something's happening, right? Something's happening. This is better than real estate. This is more fun. But look, we've got to do the right thing. CNN just came out with a poll 2 days ago, 49% for Trump. Next was Cruz and Rubio, Lion Ted and Little Marco. This is not presidential material, folks, believe me. So look, we've got to make America great again. We've got to make America great again. It's very simple. Look, he's got a sign. Show him your hands, Mr. Trump. My hands, look at these hands. These hands hit a golf ball 285 yards. Look at these hands. These politicians, such liars, liars. I guess when I made the statement about him being a lightweight, he said, let's see, what's wrong with Trump? What's wrong? Let me think about something. Maybe he's got small hands. He's got small hands. They lie. So anyway, look, all kidding aside, our country's in trouble. We owe $19 trillion. Nobody even knows what that means, $19 trillion. That's so much. You can take top people, top people. They don't know what it means. And it's just beyond. They just signed the worst budget deal I've ever seen, the worst. And we're going to change things so badly, so quickly. It's going to go so fast, and you're going to be so proud. You're going to be so proud of your country again. You're going to be proud of your president. And it's not me. I'm like the messenger. We're all together. We're all together. I'm telling you, so many articles. What we've done is very unique because the Republicans were, decades. They made a tremendous mistake when you chose Mitt Romney 4 years ago. He was a disaster as a candidate. No energy, no life, no nothing. He was a stiff, okay, just a stiff guy. He was a loser. And then he comes out. You know, if he would have devoted the same energy 4 years ago to running for president, him and his third-rate campaign manager, I see him on television all the time. Where was he 4 years ago when Obama was doing Jay Leno, when Obama was doing David Letterman, and Romney was looking for a zone change to get a 9-car garage built, okay? Where was this guy? So, look, it's the establishment. The establishment is against us. The press back there is against us, although some of it's coming around, I must tell you. I read a couple of articles this morning. Folks. They're coming around. By the way, polls show that I beat Hillary Clinton. Many polls show that I beat Hillary Clinton. You know, these guys, they like to say, well, Donald Trump will never beat Hillary Clinton. I watch him on television. I'm watching Fox, I'm watching CNN, I'm watching MS, and I'm watching television. And I say, well, Donald Trump will never, ever beat Hillary. The polls are showing that I beat her. I haven't even started on her yet. I haven't even started. You know, I wasn't supposed to beat Jeb Bush. He was establishment. He was the one that was getting it. I see all of his supporters on television saying, Donald Trump will not win. Well, what happened to their candidate, okay? It's unbelievable. No, it's so foolish. You know, the Republicans are eating their own. The Republicans are eating their own. They got to be very careful. We have to bring things together. Now I hear, if we, not me, if we win. Look at these crowds. By the way, there are look at this thing. It's packed, this convention hall. Now, I wish the cameras would spin around and show those upper decks where you can't even get on. But on top of that, there are thousands of people outside. I mean, they won't show it. Unless, is there a protester in the room, please? The only way they turn the cameras is if there's a protester, because that's like supposed to be a bad thing. I view protesters as a positive thing because then the cameras swing around. That's the only reason. You can stand there and force them. They won't touch those cameras. I didn't think, you know what? For 3 rallies, I had no protesters. And nobody knew what was happening with these rallies. And I'd go home and my wife would say, were there many people there? I'd say, yeah, about 20,000. She said, really? They never show that. They only show your face. Now, I like my face, but I'd rather show the crowd. I'd much rather show the crowd. So we're going to win, and we're going to win easily. But now I hear the establishment, well, you probably heard this, the establishment is saying very strongly, and I can't imagine, that if Trump wins now, if I win Florida, and I have a big lead in Florida over a guy that never shows up to vote, Rubio, the guy never shows up to vote. He's got the worst voting record almost in the history of the United States Senate. Who the hell wants to vote for a guy like that? In addition, I watched him melt down under the stare of Chris Christie, who just endorsed me, by the way, and Senator Sessions, and Sarah Palin, and Jerry Falwell Jr., who's been so great. You know, Jerry Falwell, we're leading with the evangelicals all over the country. Leading, big. Because they don't want to vote for a liar. You have Lion Ted Cruz. I call him, I nicknamed him Lion. I say Lion. How would you spell that? L-Y-E-N. Lion. With a big apostrophe. But, you know, you have Lion Ted Cruz, and he comes in, he holds up the Bible, and then he tells you exactly what I didn't say. All these guys, I say something, I make it very clear, then they get on television, Donald Trump just said, and it's like totally different. I want to tell you something. I used to think that real estate people were tough, especially in Manhattan. They're babies compared to these politicians. These politicians are liars. I meet, you know, it's funny, I meet much tougher people over the years. I've dealt, you know, the people I deal with are much tougher than the politicians, but nobody lies like a politician, nobody. Nobody. So anyway, what we've got to do is we've got to get out today. We've got to caucus. I'm going to go with you. We're going to caucus. And after making this huge U-turn to Kansas, if I lose, I'm going to be so angry at you. Oh. And my friend, did you ever hear of Phil Ruffin? Phil Ruffin. Now, he's from Kansas. He's one of my best friends. He's the sweetest guy. He made a lot of money just by brain power. Just a really smart guy. Great poker player, great everything. So smart, a real Kansas guy. And he's so proud of Kansas, he loves it. I called him up a few days ago. I said, Phil, good luck. You're in charge of Kansas. Calls me up the next day, says, Donald, you're doing well, but you have to be here. I said, I'll be there, okay? So here I am. So here I am. So I want to thank, I have to do this. I want to thank Phil Ruffin. I want to thank all of my Mr. and Mrs. Ruffin, too, by the way. She's fantastic. I want to thank all of my friends from Kansas. They have been working so was so sad. It took a whole 45 minutes before we realized it was a protester. I said, don't worry, let him keep protesting. He's got a very soft voice. Don't worry about it. Nobody, doesn't bother us. But look, we've got, just so you understand, we're going to strengthen our borders. We're going to build a wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. We're going to re-energize and rebuild our military with the right equipment, not equipment that's bought because companies have political connections and we're putting stuff in there that they don't want. We're going to use the stuff that the generals and that the soldiers and that everybody wants. You know, we buy military equipment based on political connections. If somebody has a plane and they're connected, and then somebody else has a plane and they're not, but the one that doesn't, that's not connected, the plane's cheaper, faster, better, maneuvers better. We buy the lousy plane because of connections. Not going to happen anymore, folks. Not going to happen. You know, same thing with the drug industry. We don't really, essentially, we don't bid out drugs. We're the largest purchaser of drugs in the world. Drugs to make you better. We're the largest purchaser of drugs in the world. And we don't bid it out because the drug companies have such a monopoly over these senators that we deal with. They don't bid it out. Who ever heard? We'll save hundreds, we'll save so much money, we'll save hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars by bidding. We will start bidding procedures, folks. We will save so much on waste, fraud, and abuse. I'm so good at contracts. You know, I'm building a hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue at the site of the old post office that I got, believe it or not, many people, over 100 people bid. And when I say people, I mean the biggest companies in the world. The hottest thing that the GSA has ever had, and I think the hottest bid. You know, GSA is like the landlord for the United States government services, very professional people. The old post office on Pennsylvania Avenue, right between the White House, right between the Capitol building and the White House, and it's under construction now. I got it. By the way, people were shocked that I got it, but I got it. They were shocked because in the Obama, that tells you how good, and I got it for two reasons. I had the most incredible and have the most incredible financial statement. It's incredible because they want to make sure it gets built. They don't want to have it stuck. And I came up with a concept that's great. But here's the story. It's under budget, and it's 2 years ahead of schedule. 2 years. Now think of that. 2 years ahead of schedule. So we're going to open in September of this year. It was supposed to be September of like 2 years from now. Because I'm really good at this stuff. We're going to rebuild the infrastructure of our country. We're going to rebuild the infrastructure. And we're going to do it for a fraction of the cost. And it's going to be better than what they were projecting. And we're going to save, and we're going to reinvigorate our military. We're going to knock the hell out of ISIS. We got to get rid of them. They cut off heads. We got to get rid of them. We're going to knock the hell. They're not going to know what happened. We're going to knock the hell out. We're going to take care of our great veterans. Our veterans have been absolutely treated unfairly. We're getting rid of Common Core. We're bringing education locally. We're one of the worst in the world in education, and we spend the most per pupil. So we're getting rid of Common Core. We're going to do it locally with love, with love, with love. And I've seen that. We're getting rid of Obamacare. It's a total disaster, and it's being replaced. And we'll have great health care at a fraction of the cost. You'll have your all the lies that we're told to get Obamacare passed. And friends of mine are showing your costs are going up 35, 45, 55%. In 17, it dies anyway, unless the Republicans extend it. These Republicans, they keep extending. They keep giving the money to extend Obamacare, to allow people to come into the country, to allow the Syrians to come in, and we have no idea who they are. So here's what we're going to do. All right, quiet. Don't worry about it. Sit down. Sit down. Boy, did he get out fast. He's gone. You know, it's amazing. He stood up. He started shouting. I said, sit down, and he sat down. Oh, it's okay. You can keep going. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Protester. I never saw a protester drop so fast. I said, sit down. He sat down. That was the end of the protester. Okay, thank you. I like that protester. That's somebody we can reason with, all right? So look, we are going to do things that are so great. You are going to be so proud of what you do today. I'm going to see you in a few minutes over at caucus. But you are going to, and I do wish you could just walk in this whole caucus system. I don't want to knock it because we're living with it right now. But don't you like it where you have a vote, you walk in, you press Trump, 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 and you leave? Instead of walking, oh, let's discuss it, let's talk for a couple of hours. What a ridiculous system. But you know what? We got to live with it, right? We have to live with it. So get in there, do a job. Hello. All right, get them out. Thank you. Thank you. That's all right. He's another quiet one. I know how tough the people of Kansas, you are tough people. How come your protesters are so weak? What's going on? What's going on? You know why? You know why they're weak? Because they know you're tough. That's why they're weak. Okay? So we're going to do things you're going to be very proud. You're going to say in a couple of years from now, that was one of the greatest mornings and one of the most important things I've ever done. Because you're going to see changes made. We're no longer going to be the stupid country. We're no longer going to be the country that gives Iran, a terror nation, $150 billion and doesn't get anything. You're going to get your prisoners back 4 years early. You're not going to have deals. We're not going to pay them $150 billion. We're not going to pay them anything. That's the kind of deals we're going to make. We're going to make real deals. We're not going to make a deal where we give over a dirty, rotten traitor. We get him, and they get 5 of the people, terrorists, that they most covet. Sergeant Bergdahl, okay? We're not making deals where 5 people were killed going after Sergeant Bergdale. 5 wonderful young people killed going after him, and he was a deserter. And we take Bergdale, and they get 5 people, not one person, they get 5 people that they most wanted anywhere, 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 okay? Not gonna happen. These stupid deals aren't gonna happen anymore, folks, okay? And let me tell you, if I have a guy like Phil Ruffin, you know, Phil Ruffin is great. If I have a guy like Phil Ruffin, one of your own, believe me, you should be very proud of him. I'll have him, let's say, Phil, do me a favor. Look over the trade deal with Japan. They're sending millions of cars. They take practically nothing from us. There's a trade imbalance that's massive. Do me a favor, Phil. Look it over. You know what, folks? Go to sleep at night. You're going to be well protected. We're not going to use our hacks. We're not going to use political hacks to negotiate the biggest deals. The other thing is, Carl Icahn, many of the great, Phil's another one, but Carl Icahn, many of the greatest business leaders in the country have endorsed me. They say Trump's the only one that knows what he's doing. We're losing companies. We're losing companies. A company like Pfizer is leaving. Pfizer, massive pharmaceutical company, they're leaving the United States. They're moving to Ireland. We're losing many. It's called corporate inversion. The politicians, I don't even think they ever heard the words, okay? I don't think they ever heard the words, so we're losing. Forget about, we're not going to let them go. Carrier Air Conditioners said they're moving to Mexico. Nabisco, moving to Mexico. Ford, moving to Mexico. Mexico's the new China, not going to happen. Carrier just announced, I will tell Carrier, good luck in Mexico, but every air conditioning unit that you make, you're going to pay a 35% tax when you move it back into this country. The hell with no taxes, folks. The hell with these guys, and I'm a conservative guy, but the hell with these conservative guys that say free trade. Trump doesn't believe in free trade. I believe in free trade more than they do, but I also believe in smart trade and fair trade, and it's not fair. With China, we have a trade imbalance. Think of this, $505 billion a year, okay? Now, that's not free trade. Because you want to do business, try it. You people know. Some of you know. Try selling a product in China. You can't do it. You can't get your product in, and if you do, you have to pay a massive tax. With us, they send it in, no tax, no nothing. That's dumb trade. We're not going to have that anymore. That's why there's such a trade imbalance, and we can't have that anymore. When I say Mexico's paying for the wall, I mean it. There's a $58 billion imbalance. In their favor, of course, because it's always in the other countries. We don't have wins at any level. There's a 58. Now, I'm going to say the wall is going to cost, if I do it, because I'll be under budget, ahead of schedule, I always am. But look, the wall's going to cost $10 billion. That's what the wall's going to cost, $10 billion. That's what it's going to cost. Sounds like a lot of money. It's really not that much. Oh, it's going to get tall. It's going to be very tall. And every time Mexico protests it, it's going to gain another 10 feet, okay? He said that. You saw the president of Mexico the other day throw out the F-bomb. If I ever did that, they'd give me the electric chair, okay? Nobody even talks about it. But you know what I didn't like? One thing I did like. He said, we will not pay for the wall. In other words, now he's accepted the wall, because a few months ago they said, we will not allow a wall. Well, now they said we won't pay for it. You see, so we made progress. So now they know the wall's going to happen. So now he's going to say, we won't pay for that, the wall, that wall. But he used the word, I didn't. I'll probably get more publicity even for doing this. You know, when I do this, you know what they do? They go, bleep, and everyone thinks I used the word. That's what happened last time. I said, we're not going to pay for the... And I went like that, quiet. And they go, the dishonest press, most dishonest people in the world, they go, bleep. And I got calls, Don, you shouldn't use foul language. I said, I didn't. But they bleep you out so they don't hear that you said nothing. These are really dishonest people. Okay. So what happens now is Vicente Fox, the ex-president, was so angered that he used the F-bomb, right? Nobody said anything about that. But what I really noticed is his anger was incredible. Not at the fact that the wall's being built, not at the fact that but you know where his anger was? That the fact that the United States would actually be tough with Mexico for a change. He couldn't believe it. How dare they talk to us that way? How dare they talk about a wall? This guy was incensed. So anyway, look, We're going to have a better relationship with Mexico than we do now. Remember Sergeant Tamburisi? They kept him for so long. They should have let him. We never even made a phone call. They had him in the worst prison. He shouldn't have been there. China shouldn't be building a massive military place in the middle, right in the middle of the South China Sea. So they make a fortune. They have no respect for us. They're going to make a lot less, and they're going to like us a lot more. You watch. That's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do. So, you are going to go. You are going to caucus. We are going to win. You're going to say, that was one of the great mornings of your life. And in 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years, you're going to say, wow, has our country changed for the better? You're going to say, and you're going to see, that our country will be the smart country. It will make the smart deals. We have to become rich again to become great again. A woman told me, Mr. Trump, I don't like it when you say our country's going to become rich again. I say, you know what, a beautiful woman, very nice woman. She said, I love you, Mr. Trump, I'm voting for you, but you should leave the rich again. I said, I can't do that. Because unless we're going to become rich again, we can never become great again. We're a debtor nation. We have no money. We owe all this money. We have no money. And we can't afford to have Germany, Japan, South Korea, Saudi Arabia was making $1 billion a day. Now they're making half. Still odd. And we take care of their military. Why aren't they helping us out? They got to help us. They got to help us. So just watch. Do me a favor. Just relax. I'll take care of all of this stuff. You have one thing to do. You have one thing to do. Go out and caucus. And you're going to see us win, win, win. We're going to win with the military. You watch. And I hope the thousands of people that are outside trying to get in can hear this. You're going to win with the military. You're going to win on health care. You're going to win with education. We have to have great education. We have horrible education. You're going to win with education. Our vets are going to be big winners. We're going to take care of our vets finally. All these politicians, for 20 years, they're helping. We're going to help the vets. All they do is spend money. It's a corrupt organization. The Veterans Administration is a corrupt organization and incompetently run, except for themselves. So we are going to take care of our vets. And we're going to take care of trade. We're going to get rid of these horrible trade deals that are being laughed at all over the world. These countries, I have so many friends in China. I have so many friends in Mexico. They can't believe they get away with it. We're going to end it. And we're going to end drugs pouring in through our southern border. And let me tell you, New Hampshire, we had a tremendous victory in New Hampshire. And I told the people of New Hampshire they have a tremendous problem with heroin and drugs. I said, I am going to take care. That was such an amazing victory. They're such incredible people. The first thing they mention all the time is heroin. And number one, you wouldn't think with New Hampshire, it's so beautiful, heroin. I said, we are going to stop it. We are going to get rid of that. We are going to help your kids get better. They have so many addicted young people and people generally. We are going to do something for the people of New Hampshire and the people of the country. We are going to stop the drugs from flowing in like it's water, okay? It's not going to happen anymore, folks. So, we're going to win, and we're going to win so much. You may, I jokingly say, you may say, please, please, Mr. Perry, we just can't stand it anymore. We're winning too much. We're winning with the military. We're going to knock out ISIS. We're winning with trade. We're winning with health care. Mr. President, we can't stand, we're winning too much. And I'm going to say, I don't care. We're going to keep winning. We're going to make America great again. I love you, folks. Go over. I'll see you over there. Go, go, go caucus. We're going to be very proud of this morning. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.